Greetings, friends, and welcome to the woods. I want to resume, well, maybe I shouldn't do that today. I want to answer a question that somebody asked me recently about why can't I be more specific about exactly how to do some of these things? Like, with the getting rid of the parasite problem, getting rid of the psychic parasite. Why can't I be more specific about what I do, the methods I use? And there's a lot of reasons. For one thing, the methods I use may not work for you. You may have a completely different way of looking at the world, and you may be in a different part of the world. If I tell you, burn sage, because that does get rid of psychic parasites. They don't like that. They'll it discourages them. It basically it smothers them. So if if you speak to the sage, speak to the spirit of the plant, make it sacred, acknowledge that it is sacred, and ask for assistance from Source. I want to cleanse the area around me of any and all problems. I revoke the parasite or parasites that might be attached to my form, and I want them to go back to where they came from or go away. And I'm going to, it's called smudging. I'm going to burn the sage, and I'm going to waft the smoke around my body so that it will affect the astral and etheric energy that I carry. And anything that might be attached to me or to my energy, spirit, beings, any of that will be cleaned. It's the equivalent of getting in the shower and washing off, only you're doing it on a spirit level. Which, by the way, running water will also disrupt. If it's not too deeply embedded, it will also disrupt that if it's got a more shallow connection. And even if it is deeply embedded, it'll ruffle it. It'll cause it problems, which is why some people swear by certain types of baths and certain types of herbal mixtures to get rid of problems like that. But getting back to why I'm not giving you specifics, or not very many specifics on it, it's because you may not have those tools. Maybe you can't afford those tools. Maybe in your religion or your beliefs or your path or your discipline, you're not allowed to explore that or use that. Now, as a spiritual rebel, you're not going to let that hold you back now, are you? But let's say you're allergic to sage. I have noticed there are certain people whose parasites have dug in so deeply into them that it's become a part of their nature. And they will react very strongly, very negatively to some of these cleansing methods. I'm always interested to see when someone's allergic to, say, like garlic or ginger or any other herbs that are about cleansing, especially anti-parasitical, antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. When someone's allergic to those, I take a pretty good look at what might be attached to them. Because our parasites, when they're established long enough and are deep into us enough, they will reconfigure their body, our body, to suit themselves. And one way of keeping us away from what might heal us is to provoke a very negative reaction whenever we're around it. But again, I have to be careful about recommending things because you may have tools or allies in your environment just waiting to help you. And if I point you in a specific direction, you may not see what's right under your nose that can solve the problem. Maybe you have a pastor or a rabbi or a sage grandmother who could be a good ally to you. Maybe for you it's not sage. Maybe for you it's cedar or neem or frankincense. Maybe for you it's something else specific. I can throw out some suggestions. I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you what I've seen work for other people. But everyone's a little bit different. And unless you ask me, I have to be careful about presenting ideas. I don't want to lock you into a pattern that will cause problems for you later. I see that too often. I have a spiritualist friend, somebody who talks to non-corporeals. She's amazing. And she has quite the talent for apporting things. She can bring things from the astral plane to the physical. She works with beings that are on that side, teachers, those who want to help us learn and grow spiritually. And they'll send her little gifts. They'll send her semi-precious stones. And she holds this side, and they hold that side, and then she brings it through. I see that as the beginning of humans learning how to bridge the dimension. And so I asked her, if you can bring semi-precious stones, what else can you bring? Can you bring something that's alive? Well, in her discipline, she was taught, yeah, you can do that, but only reptiles. Snakes, lizards, only reptiles. Who decided on that limitation? We know that humans have stepped back and forth through dimensional doors. Who taught this group of people that they can go so far and no more? Who set up this box in that particular way? Who trained them? We have to be very careful as we enter the Aquarian age to determine where the limits are now. It is wise to listen to our elders, to learn our history, to learn what's been done before. The good and the bad, the right and the wrong. Where are the pitfalls? Why do we do things a certain way? Anybody who stops you from asking that question, why do we do it this way? Or stops you from questioning entirely, I would suspect their motives. If they don't know why, if they just say, well, this is how I was trained, okay. Tell us. Ask. Why do we do it this way? Because we can't overcome our limitations if we don't even know what the limitations are or why they were placed there. Sometimes it's for very good reasons. So, you can apport a snake, but you can't Apport a dog? What happens if I try to apport a dog? Will it hurt the dog? Will it hurt me? Has anyone tried it? Why haven't they tried it? What's the worst that could happen? That it wouldn't occur? I know that felines can travel the dimensions. They do it all the time on the astral and ethereal, and they remember what they do over there. They very deliberately move back and forth. It's easier to do that than to do it with their entire physical body. But I've seen a feline do it with their entire physical body. I've seen them go and come back. It can be done. Can we help that? Can we hold a bridge for that? Some species, I suspect it's harder than for others. My point is, the rules are changing. The goalposts are changing. We are the explorers. We're going to have the opportunity to learn and grow and do all sorts of amazing things that we can just imagine right now. The boundaries are lifting. We have to start asking questions. And we have to be careful about hemming ourselves in. So, I want to give you ideas, things to explore. But I don't want to nail you down to specifics very often. Because I think you can find the answers. And your answers might be way better than mine. Or your answers might work better for you than mine would. So, thank you for spending time with me. Welcome to the woods.